Okay, it's December, and December is something new December for Anglican TV. Um, every year, throughout the year, you find George and I pleading for money. Oh my gosh, GAFCON's coming up. Oh my gosh, we need to go to Latrobe. And we need to avoid the oh my gosh moments or the no, we can't go there, George, because the checkbook is overdrawn. And Mrs. Anglican TV says I can't borrow any more money. And so we're going to start the December pledge drive. So every December from now on until Jesus returns, George and I are going to spend December basically trying to raise money. Now, I need to give you some background. Kevin Carlson was not put on the earth to do fundraising. God made me an entrepreneur. So my whole spirit DNA design is if I want to have money, I start a business, I raise funds, I get a job, and that's how it works. So operating a ministry for me, it's just completely beyond my identity to sit in front of a camera and ask you to give me money that I don't think I've earned. It just, I can feel like, like altered states where the guy starts to to go in and out of existence. Well, that's what happens when I ask for money. It's not natural to me. But so we'll do this the entrepreneurial way by showing the value of what we do. And I know you know this already, but George, what did we do in 2014?
Well, we traveled the world. We bought equipment. I mean, I need at least 6 or 7 of these every
Yeah,
week
that's right.
for our lights. We brought you breaking news. We brought you important news from places as far-flung as California, the
Hmm.
Ford Faith Festival in Illinois, up in Chicago, down in Texas, in Latrobe, Pennsylvania for the ACMA convocation, up in Canada for ANIC, across the seas to GAFCON in Nairobi. If we weren't there, it didn't happen.
That's right. I mean, one of the things that somebody once told me is if Anglican TV wasn't there, did it really happen? That kind of, if a tree falls in the forest, did you hear it? And we appreciate that. We understand the value that Anglican TV brings to the communion and the influence it has. And we plan on doing the same thing in 2015. 2015 is going to be unique because of Salt Lake City, George.
Next General Convention of the Episcopal Church in Salt Lake City, new presiding bishop, gay marriage on the agenda. It's going to be an exciting time.
Yes, and there may be, and we just heard rumors and whatnot, maybe another primates meeting we have to go to. And for some reason, even though the Episcopal Church usually puts a lot of money towards this, they don't hold these in Manhattan.
No, that's in Salt Lake City. And there's going to be GAFCON events. There's a
Right.
major GAFCON event down in Melbourne, Australia next year in
Hmm.
the spring.
So,
And the Anglican Mission in England, AMIE, is going to be picking up, and we expect things to be hopping over there.
now, now, based on the amount of content you see, you obviously think we probably need to raise about $250,000, or maybe a couple $100,000. We don't need that much money to have a year-round operation, because I pay George exactly zero, and because I run the operation, I take double his salary.
Well, we're paid what we're worth, Kevin. I mean,
Apparently.
that's the market rate for what we do.
It is. That's the value of what we do. So we don't take a salary, and all we ask donations for are equipment and travel expenses, the plane tickets, the food when we travel, the taxis, and to replace the camera that U.S. Air drops occasionally and shatters the lens. Now,
Okay, Kevin, just over the life of this series,
hmm,
when we started out filming, we had little handheld cameras that would record video
yeah,
on a SD
card,
card.
sure.
Then I would upload it to you in Connecticut, and that would take several hours.
Uh-huh.
And then you would edit it, and each show would take maybe 4 to 5 times the amount of labor than wound up on the viewing screen.
I know. And finally, they,
And,
we are always ahead of technology. Technology finally caught up to the point where I can pay an expensive price for some software that actually records us in unison together. I don't have to do this in post production.
not all of the things that we do are paid for out of the pocket of Anglican TV. For instance, I finally bit bit the bullet and bought a new desktop computer. I've now gone Apple. I'm sorry, I shouldn't admit that. And that has enabled us to save time and be more efficient. And so we're not asking you to fund a hobby for us.
No.
We put up a lot of our own time and money and effort into this, but there are major expenses. As you mentioned, USA smashed your camera. That's several $1,000s.
Yeah, it's always those last minute begging things. So we go around the world. We're omnipresent. But we only ask for money for travel and expenses and equipment expenses. People are like, well, obviously, I'm ready to write my check for $250,000. That's not what we're asking for, because once you hit the $25,000 threshold, you have to fill out the 990 long form. Anchor TV is a 5013 not-for-profit. Most of you will be able to write off the donation you give to us if you're not really, 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 really super rich. And so we only need $20,000 a year for an operation. We don't want to go above the $25,000 because I can fill out the 990 EZ form, which is just one little postcard, versus the 56-page 990 form.
And Kevin,
Yeah.
speaking of operations, friends, even if you don't think it's important to help us with the equipment and the travel expenses, I have tuberculosis.
Apparently, yeah, you're coughing up a lung over there, George.
I need to go to an expensive sanitarium, and Kevin is having kidney dialysis, or is it kidney stones?
Kidney stones, yes.
We're in terrible physical shape, and friends, unless you donate, God is going to take us away. You know, it worked for Oral Roberts.
It did,
Kevin.
that's
Do you
right.
think it might work for us? Or perhaps if we have people put their hands on the computer screen.
Well,
maybe we should be prosperity gospel people.
Well, people should know by now that we don't know how to fundraise and we don't know how to ask for money. It's just not. Well, George could probably hold up a sign on I-95 down there saying, "I'll preach for money," but it's not part of my DNA. So help us out. Go to Anglican.tv, and we're going to remind you several times before the first of the year to pledge for next year. And go to Anglican.tv/donate. You can fill out the PayPal. You can fill out the other opportunities. You can send us a check, whatever you want. You can send us an email. So, yes, I'm going to pledge this much for next year. And I'll keep a running tally on Anglican TV on the donate page so that you'll know when we hit the 20,000, because I don't want $25,001. That means I have to fill out the 56-page 990 form, and no, that's not going to happen. Thank you again for your support.